Hello and welcome back to our series on applying machine learning to your own data. Our goal here is to prepare this dataset to feed into a variety of machine learning algorithms. In today's episode, we are preparing our date times. First, we'll be converting them into date time objects, and then we'll do a few calculations on them. Let's get started. And I'll begin by creating a new section here. I don't think we need this in place, but I'll leave it just commented out. And then we'll create a new section, and what we've been calling these string columns, I'll just call this date columns. My first challenge is that I read the dates in from a CSV file, which represents the dates as characters, strings of characters that look like dates, but they are not actually date objects. I need to convert them into a proper datetime format, and for Python that would be the timestamp data type. And Pandas provides a very handy toDateTime function that will do the hard part for us. So I'll begin with our df issues here, and I'll take issue due date. Then I'll call the toDateTime function that I mentioned, toDateTime, and I will just pass it the exact same thing, df issues, issue due date. And that looks good. The other column that I want to handle is issue resolution date. So we'll copy this, paste, and we will replace the middle bit. That gives us the right data types to work with, and now I'd like to compare each of these issues due date here with its actual resolution date. Was it resolved by its due date, or is somebody in trouble really? And this is a very simple date time subtraction, resolution date minus due date, but there is one issue here. I can only do this where I have both of these dates. And the way I'll handle that is I'll set up some logic here that identifies the rows which have both of these dates first, and I'll create a mask of those. And then I'll apply my calculation to any rows where the mask is true. So let's set that up. Mask equals PD not null. And the first one I'll look at is df issues issue due date. So where that is not null, and PD not null issue resolution date. Let's take a quick look at the mask so I can show you how it's just a Boolean thing that will be true for rows where this condition is true and false where it is not true. There we go. That will allow me to filter the rows in df issues. Now I'll use the mask to apply my calculation only where it's true. And I want to create a new column here. I'm going to call it overdue days. And that equals df issues, issue resolution date, minus df issues due date, issue due date. And when we're done here, we'll get a, and actually it's why I included it up at the top here, a time delta out of this calculation. And what I really would like to see is the number of days. So I'm just going to do that conversion right at the end here. That will be dt days. Now because we only did this on rows that have both dates, we will have some missing values wherever the mask was false, like these first three here. And I don't like that. So I'm going to replace those missing values with a 0. And to do that, I'll go df issues.lock df issues over due days. What's that? Close that. And then I could use the isNull function again here. I'm going to use isNA this time for variety's sake. This is basically the same function is called in the back. It's just derived, I think, from our syntax rather than Pandas, just to be compatible. So overdue days equals 0. And lastly, now that we've represented our date information in this overdue days column that we created, we really don't need those original date columns. So let's get rid of them. We'll do it the same way we drop columns up there. So df issues.drop. And I just pass in a list of the column names that I want to drop. And that is, I need to quote that, issue due date and issue resolution date. And again, I want to drop columns, so I'll say axis equals 1, and I want to do it in place. And let's take a look at what we get. It looks like I made a very simple error here. I used an equal sign instead of a minus. There we are. Let's try it again. Okay, we should have an overdue days column over at the end here. And there it is. That is all we need to do to shape up our date columns. In the next episode, we'll add columns that contain some aggregates whose values might help us make some better predictions. Thanks, and I hope to see you there.